I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Brandon.
And today, Brandon and I are going to do a little tutorial on the reason that I haven't posted as many videos the last couple weeks as I meant to. It's Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. I've been talking about this a lot in several videos, and I keep saying, I'm going to do some content on this, and here is the beginning of my content on this. I don't know how much interest there's going to be in this game, but I am loving it. I'm getting really hip deep into this, as you'll see in a moment. And I think it's a really neat game, and I just want to give it as much support as humanly possible. I've been getting really involved in the Facebook community for this. There's over 5,000 people on the Heroes of the Grid Facebook group.
Wow.
It is one of the best social media experiences I have ever had, Brandon. They are so helpful in there in tips for painting figures and in rules when you're confused about something. Like anytime I get unsure about something in the game, if I'm like a mechanic, if I'm playing it right, I will post on that group, and within 2 minutes I've got like 3 or 4 responses.
Oh, that's nice.
And so it's been really nice, and I've been posting a lot of my stuff there, some of my paint jobs, and getting feedback from people, and my painting has been improving because of that. So the first thing I want to do is kind of show off what the game looks like and some of the stuff I've been doing with it, both figure-wise and also just some of like my storage solutions and things, because this is a very big, expansive game already. It's only been out about a year, a little over a year, and there's already a lot of expansions. It's not coming out monthly, but every few months they put out something via a Kickstarter campaign.
That's
and
nice.
The Kickstarters for this have been nuts. Like that's how they funded it. And the interest and the enthusiasm and the support for this game has been so huge in the Power Rangers community that they managed to like 1,000% back every one of these expansions every time they put up one, and they went like insanely way over goal. Like if memory serves, don't quote me on this, but if memory serves, for the initial game set, I think they got like $700,000 to get the whole thing started, which is why
nice.
The quality of it is so nice. Like every penny you can see in this. It's fantastic. So let me start by just kind of explaining a little bit about what the game is. I said it's expansive. I don't want to overwhelm people with this right away, although as we show stuff, I'm going to show you a little bit beyond just the basic set when we get into a tutorial. And here in a little bit, Brandon and I are going to show you how some of the mechanics work. We're not going to play a full game, but we're going to show you kind of the bare bones of like what a typical game looks like, and then down the road, if there's any interest in this at all, we'll do some, maybe even if there's not, just because it'll be fun, we'll do maybe some full-blown gameplay videos. It takes me on average about 2 hours to finish one of these. It's not a short game, although as I'm getting to learn cards, I'm getting a little bit faster.
Sure.
But it kind of depends on what happens in a game. It kind of depends on if you're playing a story-esque scenario. There can be even a little bit of a role-play element in this game, although that's not the main thing, and that's it. Usually when there's a story component, it's just kind of the background of the thing. There are official scenarios that Renegade puts out every month that you can use.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun, and I've printed all of them out. I've started using some of them. I've got fan scenarios printed out too that people have made that are really neat. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just talk a little bit about the base game and what the thing is. So if you just get this, there's already plenty to do, and it's a lot of fun. There's, as you can tell, way more to get. And it does start to get expensive, certainly. And like I said, I don't want to overwhelm people, but the base set is, I think, $80 retail. Sometimes you can find it a little bit cheaper. I think on Renegade's site, it's still, is it 90? It's between 80 and 90. I initially got mine on Amazon for $75, but that price fluctuates here and there. I actually have 2 base sets now because I bought out a guy's collection, which is how I got a lot of my stuff. I have bought stuff since then, but I've actually decided to keep both of my base sets because there are lots of reasons that it's kind of nice and fun to have multiples of the original 5 Rangers, particularly because there are character cards for not just Jason, but also Rocky, and not just Trini, but also Tanya or Aisha, and the list goes on, and so there are actually reasons to play with both of those figures at once. But anyway, so the base set is the original 5 Rangers. It's basically bare bones Season 1 Power Rangers, and it's got 4 monsters, and it has Rita Repulsa as the boss. As you continue accumulating expansions, there are lots more monsters, there are lots more bosses, and for those of you that are not big fans of Mighty Morphin, but like other Power Rangers stuff, they have already started putting in quite a bit of stuff that's not just Mighty Morphin. The bulk of it is Mighty Morphin, but immediately the very next set was Shattered Grid, and that gives us Time Force Pink, Jen Scotts, who is one of the best characters in the game, and I like to have her in every game I can get her in. You won't be able to see this very well, but here she is. There's Jen Scotts. And that also included the Hyperforce Rangers, who are involved in the Shattered Grid event in the comics, and who are developed in a role-playing game that happened online with some alum, including Jason David Frank, and is considered more or less canon at this point. Yeah, a role-playing game became Power Rangers canon. It's crazy.
Why not? That's cool.
And then after that, there have been a number of other things. So we now have, as of just a couple weeks ago, we have a Zeo Ranger set. So I have all the Zeo Rangers now. We've got Gold Ranger now.
You were pretty excited when that came in.
Oh yeah, and through the moon when I got Gold Ranger, and I've got both the Gold Rangers because they did a Kickstarter Gold Ranger, and then they also put him in the Allies pack, which I've also got now. I have everything that has come out at this point. So anyway, base set, it's like I said, 4 monsters, and it's Rita Repulsa, and then it's got putties and super putties as your foot soldiers, and then it's got the 5 Zords for the Dino Megazord. Those don't have figures, those are represented by cards, and we'll show you in a little bit what those do in the game. And then it has the Dino Megazord, and there have also been some other Megazords that have come out. The only actual big Megazord figure, which you really don't have to have, it's just cool. A lot of these miniatures games make a lot of things that are completely unnecessary. But here's the Megazord. Mine's not finished painting-wise, but I have started on him, and I've basically just got to do the details at the bottom here, but that's the only Megazord that they've put out so far. And then as far as giant stuff goes, we also have Cyclopsis, who's one of the hardest bosses to beat in the game, and he works entirely differently than other bosses. He's fascinating.
These figures are absolutely detailed.
They're gorgeous.
And pretty as all get out.
And then we just got Mega Goldar. And so Goldar, regular Goldar, and now Mega Goldar are in the game. So this game doesn't include like giant Megazord fights yet. There are kind of plans for that eventually. The creator of the game, Jonathan Ying, has talked about trying to get to that down the road. He's not sure exactly how it's going to work yet. But at the moment, the Zords are used for some extra powers that they give you in the game. So as the game progresses, the more putties you beat, the more Zords you get, and that makes you more powerful. And then by the end, when you get the Megazord, each of the Megazords have even more powerful abilities. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead now and get into the tutorial. So Brandon, what we want to do first, of course, is choose our Rangers. Now the game is best played with 3 to 5 players, but you can play a 2-player game. The rules are actually the rules aren't changed, but the setup is a little bit different.
Sure.
And so we'll show how a 2-player game works, because I'm sure a lot of people find it easier to find one person to play with than 3 to 5. And I haven't seen a whole lot of people do 2-player games or try to do tutorials teaching how the game is played with just 2. So that's the thing I wanted to do today. So when you pick 2, I guess we'll have to move Ninja and Zed out of the row way. Usually when... I have so much Power Ranger stuff everywhere, I just gotta move things. So usually...
We'll consolidate power here.
When you play this game, you play with one Ranger at a time. When you play 2 players, you play with 2, and they're going to move around together. So, Brandon, essentially what we're going to do, and so like I said, things are modified a little bit, but I think it'll be pretty easy to show you guys how or explain to you guys how the game would be played normally with more players, even as we're doing it with just 2. So usually, Brandon, what you would do is each person, like I said, would play as one Ranger and would have one Ranger deck. One thing that's unique about this miniatures game is that everything has its own deck. Like everything. The monsters have a deck, the putties have a deck,
Yes,
the boss has a deck, every
You have
ranger has a deck.
Massive amount of cards that I've seen on this table.
It gets, yeah, and by the way, Brandon gave me this table, and thanks a bunch for that, because I got this table like a week before I started in this game, and I don't have much in this house that would have been able to hold this as well.
You're very welcome.
It's also wonderful for dice rolling. You got these compartments, and I want to actually do poker on it eventually. It's a poker table, but it's really nice
Plans for this
for a thing like this. So yeah, I've gotten really kind of lucky in just the setup I've got for this. But anyway, I also want to mention, by the way, that there are a few things that when we get into the game, you're going to see that don't come with the base set. Not just extra expansions and stuff, but also I have all of the colored dice that they put out that you can buy separately, and I have several of them. So I think the base set, because like I said, I bought out a collection, so I haven't actually seen how that comes by itself, but I think each color just comes with 4 and you have to buy more to get more, but I've got, or is it just 2 of each and you had to buy 3 sets? I think that's what it is. But anyway, I've got 6 dice, and that's really all you need for most things. Very rarely do dice rolls get too far over 6, but I mean it happens. But if you do, and it's just for style and aesthetic, it's fun. If you do, if you want colored dice for each ranger color, it's best to have 6. And so I have that for every ranger color. All of my cards are color coded because the collection I bought out, it was that way. So I've continued to do that. And also, I've got these really nice plastic tokens. Initially, this comes with cardboard tokens that were made by a really cool outfit called Covenant. And the guy, so it's a third-party outfit, and they do videos and playthroughs on this game as well, and also painting tutorials. So I really recommend that YouTube channel. As you can tell, I've been spending a lot of time on this. Anyway, so go check that out if you end up getting into this game and you like these tokens. They're a lot prettier than what comes with it initially, particularly the lead ranger token, which I like a lot, and this set is $50 if you buy it by itself. I just got lucky and it happened to come with what I got already, or I probably wouldn't have them yet. But anyway,
you'd still be piecing it together, though.
Yeah, it would take me a little bit of time. So let's go ahead and start off choosing our rangers, Brandon. If we were playing with just the base set, we would just be able to choose between the 5 originals, just to kind of have a little bit of fun and show people what is possible. I'm going to let us pick between anybody we want to. Hopefully, it doesn't overwhelm people too much. But like I said, I told you what's in the initial pack. Like I said, there is plenty to do there. You'll get a lot of fun out of it, but it's more like playing like a self-contained board game, and as you continue getting expansions, of course, there's more and more to do. And I know a lot of board games, by the way, have expansions. This one, and I don't play a lot of board games. Part of the reason that I've gotten so immersed in this is because A, I like Power Rangers a lot, and B, it is so versatile. There's just a bazillion different ways to play this game.
So many different combinations of everything.
And they just keep adding more game modes and more like ways to mix it up. And like no game I've played is ever exactly like another one.
There's no way to repeat a game in any way.
I'll mention a couple of cool things even before we get into this that they've started to add. There's deck building now. We just did a game that way that we finished today. We got stomped by Zed at the end. It was going really well, and then we got killed by Zed. And that is a legendary ranger mode based kind of on the Megaforce thing where you can morph into old rangers. And it allows you to not only build your own custom decks. There's rules for how you can build them out of several different rangers, but it also lets you morph into those rangers during the game. So you don't play as just one icon, and you don't play with just one ranger ability. You're able to, whenever you move or recover, you're able to switch your ranger out.
That's pretty cool.
It's really freaking cool. And they haven't done this yet. But soon, I think in I think it's going to come with the Psycho Ranger set that comes out in September, Brandon. They are putting out a mode that is finally competitive, where another player, where one player will be controlling the villains.
Because this is, at the moment, it is entirely cooperative.
It is entirely cooperative, so it will be us versus the board.
That's fascinating.
I'd never played a cooperative game like this, and I didn't know if I would enjoy that. And one thing I've really appreciated it for is just it's a really great teaching tool for my kids. And it's been, you wouldn't think that anything associated with Power Rangers would be all that educational, but this absolutely has been for my 5 and 10-year-old. We've been playing it together for about 3 weeks now, and they
Freddie's
play
really
it
taken to it
every day. Yeah, and Freddie, my 5-year-old, is kind of natural at strategy. I didn't even think I thought it would be too overwhelming. He couldn't figure it out. The age on the box is 14, which is bonkers. Because my 10-year-old is great at it, but my 5-year-old is also getting really good at it. I guess it kind of, those things, it always depends on the kid, of course.
Sure.
But I will mention that it could be overwhelming for some kids, and it is very strategy-based, but my kids have taken to it and had no problem learning it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and choose our Rangers, Brandon.
All right.
Now, Brandon's not a big Power Rangers guy. He doesn't know a ton, so you feel free to just pick a couple things that look kind of neat. It's okay if things don't, because usually you want to pick your Rangers and pick your team based on what abilities and card types and things go really well together. But we're just going to do a little tutorial here, so it doesn't really matter how well they match up. And I will pick a couple too. So feel free to just go for basic Mighty Morphin if you want to, or just pick up one and go, that looks cool, and then I'll tell you what it is.
Well, give me the Red Ranger there in the middle there.
Okay, so here is we'll just use regular Red Ranger and not the one with the Dragon Shield.
Sure.
Just to not make it too complicated. I mean, we could just use that figure, but the Dragon Shield one has a couple of extra cards that this one doesn't have, and I don't want to get into that right now. So we'll just do basic Mighty Morphin Red, and then who else do you want? You'll have to play as two.
I'm going to take. Well, how about Yellow Ranger?
Okay, so Brandon is going to do just a couple of... By the way, these are not my paint job. This was from the guy that I bought my collection from, but I have painted quite a bit. I'll show you some of these as we go along. So Brandon's just going to do Mighty Morphin Red and Mighty Morphin Yellow. So I will go for a couple of maybe slightly more exotic things, Brandon.
All right.
Although, I don't want to overwhelm and confuse people too much. So I won't do Gold Ranger, because he has a whole extra mechanic, and he's insanely crazy powerful.
Yeah, you mentioned him.
And he's by the way, my favorite Rangers are all in the game already. We've got Dino Thunder Black, we've got Gold Ranger, we've got White Ranger. Like, my favorite Rangers are all in the game already. Okay, I'm going to play... I mentioned Jen Scott's earlier, so I'll play as Jen Scott. So this is Time Force Pink, and she's got some really nice, helpful abilities. And then I guess I'll go with, I don't know, Green Ranger is kind of I was going to say, he's been my favorite lately. Maybe I'll go, I don't know, Green or White. It's going to be a Tommy. Sorry, DJ, but it is going to be a Tommy. I guess I'll go Green. So this is the first one I painted, by the way. He came out, okay, but I've gotten a little bit better, I think. So there is Tommy. And those are the four we're going to pick. So, Brandon and I are going to now get all of our cards out. There's so much of this, I had to find a way to organize it. So I found this at Michael's, and I put the stickers on it. Like, I printed that, so it didn't come like that. But anyway, so this is a little organizer that I picked up. And I've got everything kind of sorted really nicely here. So we're going to need Jen Scott's cards. And I'll do all this off camera, but I'm just going to go ahead and pull out all the cards out and all the dice out, and we'll get ready, and then we'll go ahead and show you guys how the game is played. Okay, Brandon, I set up a few things in ahead of time, but a few other things I'm going to actually show on camera so people know how to do them.
Okay.
And how the game is set up. We're going to do things, again, a little bit differently than you usually would, because A, there's two of us playing, and B, we're not going to play a full game. So I want to show you how to set up deployments and how to put in monsters and bosses. You may notice that between cuts, I changed my Ranger out. I said I was going to be green, but I decided to go for white instead, because Green Ranger's whole thing is about playing by himself, And by definition, I can't do that right now because I have to play as 2 Rangers simultaneously. So I went ahead and went as white. So before I put together deployments, let me just tell you a little bit about how a 2-player game works versus a normal game. Usually you're going to play with 1 Ranger with a 10-card deck. 10 cards is all you get. The whole point of the game is to, well, not the whole point, but you take damage by losing cards, and you don't want to lose your whole deck or you die. They call it getting knocked out, but I think about it as death. And then you end up going back to the middle into the command center. And so we're going to play with a 20-card deck made up of 2 different decks with 2 different Rangers, and we're going to, again, individually, each of us is going to move both of our Rangers as one. So Brandon, go ahead and shuffle your 2 decks together.
Okay.
You play in this game with a hand size of 5. When you're playing 2 players with a deck of 20, you're going to play with a hand size of 7. Hopefully there's not too much glare here and you guys will actually be able to see these okay. You don't actually draw until you get into a battle. So unlike most games, we're not actually going to have a hand at the start of our game, Brandon.
Okay.
Brandon has played this once. I don't think you've even played a full game all the way out to the end.
No, we played about an hour.
So you haven't seen a boss battle yet.
We were just short of a boss battle. We got further than you expected.
Okay, so I'll show everybody how that's going to work. Brandon, I'm going to play with pink dice.
Okay.
I went ahead and gave you red dice. You were playing as my 2nd or 3rd favorite character right now.
Okay.
Mighty Morphin Red is still one of my favorites. He's one of the best attack rangers. You're also playing with one of the better support characters, Yellow Ranger, Mighty Morphin Yellow. I wouldn't want to play with her in a battle by myself or by herself, but with somebody else, she's quite good. So let me go ahead and set up deployments and show you how that works. And I guess, actually, even before I get into that, I'll just mention real briefly what the point of the game is, and hopefully this isn't too confusing before you see it, but we're going to show you everything. So, you've got 4 quadrants here, essentially. Each of these locations can be traded out for other ones that come out in different expansions. These are the 4 that come with the initial game, and they include, again, like I said earlier, putties and super putties. You're going to see some stuff that's painted right now and some stuff that is not, and some things that are my paint job and some that aren't. This is not my paint job. That guy did a great job. Anyway, so you see numbers on each of these quadrants, and that number is the figure limit. When an area is completely panicked, you put a panic token on said area. When every area is completely panicked, you lose the game. That's it. You're done for. So you want to keep the putties and monsters down as much as possible. 2 ways that you can lose in this game. One is to have the entire thing panic. The other is to lose all of your energy tokens in the command center, i.e. that's how you die. Now, in a normal game, Brandon, you're going to have a certain number of energy tokens in the center, depending on how many you're playing with. I think usually it's 2. Sometimes it's 4. It depends on the number of people that you're playing with. When you're playing with a 20-card deck, you have no energy tokens in the command center, and you're never allowed to die. So that's how we're going to be showcasing the game. You do, however, when you're playing with 2 Rangers, get 3 action tokens instead of 2, and the action tokens are how you do 3 major things in the game, the main things that you're able to do. They allow you to move, they allow you to initiate a battle, and they allow you to recover. And that's how you get some of your cards back into your deck. You can also do a 4th thing, which is to power up. That allows you to go to the center of the board. That you have to use an action token in order to move to the center, but the actual action of powering up is a free action. So you don't have to use one of these in order to do that part of it, but you do to move there. Very often you're going to find that it's more useful to recover than it is to power up, but sometimes you're going to be in such bad shape you're going to need to waste one in order to do that, unless you do a strategy that a lot of people do, which is to die on purpose, and you and I will not be able to do that because we cannot die with a 20 card deck.
Immortal.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can die, we're just not allowed to, or we lose the game. The way we win the game is we defeat the boss. So you have to get all the way to the boss, so it's going to be 2 monster deployments and a boss deployment. And that happens usually somewhere between 4 and 5 turns. Your first turn may have a monster and may not, depends on the shuffle. And then usually by your third turn, you should have 2 monsters out. You should, if you've not already defeated one or both of them, and then there's a boss after that. So usually 4 or 5 turns is what it takes to get to the boss. And let me show you how to put the deployments together for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle together all of our locations. We've got 4, and each location has 5, hopefully you guys can see that okay, 5 cards each. And then what you do is you take your, you make 4 stacks of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. And then you declutter your board so that you can do such a thing. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take... So you can do this a lot of different ways. You can do this randomly. You can intentionally put certain monsters and bosses in the deck that you really want to fight. Again, you can make up your own scenarios and change rules around a little bit so that you can do things based on actual episodes. We've done one based on Green with Evil. We've done one based on White Light. We did a Coming of Zed one. I've made up things. We've used things other people have made a little bit. It's a lot of fun. So what we're going to do is, Brandon, should we pick random monsters, or should I pull out a couple of kind of easier ones? What do you think?
Depending on how much you want to show, probably the easier ones just for the basic game mechanics.
Maybe so, yeah. Well, okay, so we'll put in Pumpkin Wrapper, because Pumpkin Wrapper's fun. Everybody's going to want to see Pumpkin Wrapper. I painted mine already. He was a lot of fun.
Everyone?
Pumpkin Wrapper doesn't come with a base set. He is in the Kickstarter exclusive, but no worries. They keep putting those back out. Sometimes they're available on Renegade's website to buy, and they tend to come back out whenever they do a Kickstarter. That is a $125 set that comes with a whole bunch of stuff. That's the Green with Evil set. That's the White Light set. That's where you get Zed. That's where you get Tangas and Z-Putties. A whole ton of stuff comes with that set. Okay, so we're gonna put Pumpkin Wrapper in the game, and we're also gonna put in. Let me see here. Somebody from the base set. Let's put in. Let's see. He's kind of tough, but we'll put in Bones. Okay, Bones is gonna go in the game, and then I'm gonna show you guys some of the bosses here. Like I said, Mega Goldar, Rita. There was actually 2 different Rita figures, but just 1 card set. And then regular Goldar, Master Vile, Cyclopsis is horrifying, Wizard of Deception, Draken, Rito, Scorpina, and Zed. Like I said, the only one that comes with the main set is Rita, so if that's all you play, you're going to fight her every time. And there's also Evil Green Ranger, who I have, but his cards have gone missing, and I cannot find them anywhere.
No.
I've contacted Renegade, and they're going to send me new ones, which is super, super nice of them. It's in here somewhere, but I have turned this whole bunker upside down trying to find it, and I can't find it right now. So we can't play against him right now, but why don't we just go ahead? Well, we could do, I mean, I would love to do Zed because he's my favorite, but he's so freaking hard. I got stomped by him earlier today. So we'll go ahead and just put Rita in, because she is base game and a little bit easier than some of the others. So that's what we'll do. Okay, so then what you do is you shuffle each set separately. I just put a boss on top of a monster, Brandon. That was smart. And this is how the deployments are going to come out. So now what you want to do is put each stack on top of each other thusly. So we're going to put 3 on top of 4, and 2 on top of 3, and 1 on top of 2. And then this is, behold, our deployments. Here's our game right here. This is it. Okay, so that's going to go there. And now I think we are all set up and about ready to start playing. So, like I said, you're going to play with 3 action tokens if you're playing 2-player, 2 normally. And then, Brandon, you and I playing 2-player. It's sort of like having 2 separate rangers and sort of like having 1 ranger that's doubled. So because you have 2 rangers, you also get 2 energy tokens in your reserve. Energy is how you pay for a lot of actions, but some of your actions aren't going to actually cost anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and deploy our foot soldiers, Brandon. What's the matter?
Nothing.
We're going to deploy our... I thought maybe your count was weird. We're going to deploy our foot soldiers now, and then we're going to show you a basic first turn, and then we're going to go ahead and put out a monster for you. So like I said, we're not going to play out an entire game, so the monster may take like a third turn before, or excuse me, a second turn before it comes out, but we're going to go ahead and just show you one after an initial putty deployment, just so you can see how that normally works out. So usually you're going to deploy 5 foot soldiers in a game where you're new to it or you have new players. You do 4 to make it easier. So we're going to play with 4. So we'll put out 1 putty, Brandon, at Ernie's Juice Bar. Would you please do that for me?
Yes.
You can be in charge of the putties. So a regular putty, not a super putty. So that's a super putty.
Oh, that's a super putty.
You're going to want a regular putty.
Is that?
Yeah. The super putties have 2 heads, and a regular putty has 1 head.
Yeah, he had 1 head.
Oh, I thought you picked up a super.
No,
putty.
I picked
Good.
up one of the 1-head ones.
Yeah, they're
But
not
I'll
painted right now.
I'll use
Some
this
of them-
painted guy.
Okay, sweet. So that's all you got to deal with so far there. And again, not panicked until it gets to 5, and I'll talk about more about how panicking works here in a minute. We've got 2 putties at Angel Grove High. So the way you can tell where they go is the area that is depicted on the very next card. So 2 putties at the high school. At the high school. And then we're going to flip over the high school and see how many putties we get at the industrial district. So that's going to be 2 supers at the industrial district, Brandon. And those tend to be a little bit harder to deal with at the industrial district. And finally, 2 super putties at Angel Grove High.
Oh boy. We're
Yes,
only 1 away
indeed.
from being panicked at the...
Yeah, but the nice thing is nothing is panicked yet, so that's good. There he goes, at the high school. Okay, so now, because Brandon and I are playing together, we get to make all of our choices together. You do have a hand, you can conceal it or not, it's up to you, but you do make all of your decisions really with your team. It is Power Rangers, so it's all about teamwork, and Brandon and I are going to decide before we start drawing cards what our strategy is and where we'd like to go to try to take out these putties. So, Brandon, we only have 2 areas that are very close to even remotely being panicked. Mm-hmm. So I would, and it's possible, if this is easy enough, that one of us will even have enough action that we could go, one of us or both of us could go to the juice bar and take out that other one. So there's a good chance at completely clearing the board right now, especially because we only had to do 4 deployments. So I'm going to suggest, because this does not look too horribly difficult, is that 5 or 4 over there?
4.
It's 4, yeah. So I'm going to suggest that one of us goes to the high school,
Okay.
and the other one goes to the industrial district.
All right.
I think we can split up pretty easily here.
Sure.
I'm going to suggest that you take the easier one, because my characters, I think, are going to be a little bit more powerful with their attacks.
So we use an energy to move.
Well, you use an action token to
An
move. Yeah,
action
these are
token.
energy. That's
Sorry,
action.
action
No
token to
problem.
move.
Yeah, so you're going to flip an action token to move, and we'll let Brandon go ahead and do his first.
So it's flipped.
Yeah, so Brandon, why don't you take your guys and move them to the industrial district? You got to move both of them together.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way a battle works, first of all, you can only fight 4 at a time. Now, that we're not going to have to worry about that this turn, obviously, but if there were, say, 5 here, and that's why I asked a minute ago, you would fight the 4 putties, and then if you had enough action left over, you could go ahead and initiate another battle to try to take out the other one, but you can't actually fight all 5 of them at the same time. So, Brandon, you're going to fight just 2 super putties.
Okay.
And this doesn't really matter right now, but I'm going to do it anyway because there's just the 2 of us. But look, you get to be the lead ranger. Actually, it doesn't matter right now because we're split off. It actually would matter if we were together right now. So Brandon is going to fight solo, but he's got 2 rangers, but he's, 1 person, so he's still technically fighting solo. So Brandon, you're going to draw now 7 cards instead of 5.
7 cards.
But once again, usually it will be a 5-card draw.
Alright.
And now, so Brandon's going to take a look at his cards and see what kind of attacks, maneuvers, and reactions he has. And then I'm going to go ahead and put out the putties, and then I will kind of break down what you're allowed to do and in what order. So, let me shuffle this real quick, and then here come... Oh, oops. I put the putties and the super putties together, Brandon.
Uh-oh.
That was smart. 1 second. Putties, putties, putties. Super, super, supers. Okay, so here are the super putties that Brandon will be facing. Here we go. Brandon, you've got a putty pummel and you've got an engulf to deal with. Okay, so first of all, engulf is fast, which means it automatically goes to the front of the line. And fast cards simply mean that the enemy gets to attack first. Usually the rangers get the first attack, but if the enemy has fast, they go first. Unless you have something that somehow gets around fast, and there are some things that do that. Now, Brandon, do you have, where is your ranger card? Are you missing it?
I am missing my ranger card.
Let me pull that out because you need to see your ability. Jason's ranger ability is a reroll.
Okay.
So once per battle... Oh, where is his... Okay, hold on. Might be behind me. Give me just a minute. Oh, I forgot Aisha and Tanya are actually both in the game. I haven't played as either of them yet. But here's Trini, and she gives you the double strike. Once per battle, after you play a card, you may immediately play another card with the same name, which is helpful, but doesn't come up as often as you might want it to, because there's only so many duplicate cards in a deck. And then I gotta pull out White Rangers. Oops, we weren't quite...
I do have 2 Tyrannoslashes.
Quite ready. Yeah, and actually, it might come out up more often since you've mixed decks. And since the decks are mixed, you of course are able to use your Ranger ability with any cards that come up, even though they're initially intended just for that one Ranger.
That's cool. These are both red, though.
Okay, both red. What are you talking about?
My Tyrannoslashes are both Red Ranger.
Well, no, of course they would be. That's a Red Ranger
I
card.
mean,
The point I'm making is that you can still... All I'm saying is, for the folks at home, Trini's power works with the Red Ranger cards.
Gotcha.
Because we're playing sort of as one, but sort of as two. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm with you.
That is the point I'm making. Okay, Brandon. So, you are in a fight by yourself, which means that even if I had cards, which I can't draw right now because I haven't started a battle, I wouldn't be able to help you with anything. So the powers that you have, or excuse me, the abilities that you have on your Ranger cards can only be used in a battle that you're in. Zords, when we get to them, and we'll show you how that works a little bit later. We'll just pull one out for the next battle, probably, to show you how that works. Can be used out of like regardless of what Ranger is actually in the battle. They can be used by anybody. So anyway, all right. So Brandon, you are, unless you have a way to get around fast, you're gonna get hit right away with Engulf, which is going to drain you of 1 energy. We're gonna, and I haven't done this yet, but we need to put 2 energy in the pool. So let me explain how the whole energy pool thing works real quick. So energy, as I said earlier, is how you pay for a lot of your maneuvers and attacks. They cost anywhere between 1 and 3 apiece. And they go in what is called the shared energy pool. And any ranger in a battle is able to pull energy out of it. You start each battle with just 2, and it doesn't continue to stack between battles. So when you finish a battle, the energy gets split between whoever was in the battle if they actually need extra energy. You also get reserve energy, but you can only hold on to one at a time unless you're playing like we're playing right now with 2 players where you get 2. But reserve energy works this way. So when you need more energy in the pool, you can take your reserve energy and put it in the pool, and then any ranger still has access to that. And then you get your reserve energy back by either splitting up extra energy at the end of a battle, or when you recover a power-up. That also gets you energy back. So we'll see all that in motion here in a little bit. Okay, so Brandon, right away, you're going to lose an energy because that is the horrible thing that Engulf does to you. Okay. Engulf also is currently guarding Putty Pummel. And so you can't attack Putty Pummel right now. You can only attack Engulf unless you have a way around guard.
I do not.
So let's see what Brandon does. Also, one more thing that we didn't do quite right, Brandon, is you have to flip over a token to move, but you also have to flip over a token to initiate the attack.
Oh, so I'm initiating the attack now.
Yeah, well, you already did, because look, there's an attack.
Well, yes, there's an attack there. So
that's why I'm saying we should have done that already. Okay.
So we want to pick something to... Those ones both re-roll any number of dice. So should I go ahead and roll?
Well, it's... Just pick an attack first, man. So you gotta play a card. And on a 2, you usually want... Usually what I try to do when I can, Brandon, is get a number of dice that's at least one more than the number that takes out that card. You can't always do that, but I mean, I wouldn't throw any less than 2, obviously.
Right.
But what do you have, Brandon?
I have a power sword attack. The next time any ranger performs an attack during this battle, add 2 dice to that attack.
So one thing to keep in mind, of course, is that your power sword is a cost 3, and you currently only have 2 reserve energy and 1 in the pool.
Gotcha.
So that would wipe you out entirely, and that's also way more than you need. That's a 5 dice attack.
5 dice. How about a 3 dice attack for 2? You may re-roll any number of dice.
So I would save that for your Putty Pummel. You're really, unless you have like another 3 dice attack.
I mean, I have 2 of the Tyranno Slashes, so I do have another one, and I can use that.
I think Tyranno Slashes. Oh yeah, that would help too if you're using Tanya's ability.
Yes.
Or excuse me.
Because once per battle, after you play a card, you may immediately play another card with the same name. So I have 2 Tyranno Slashes.
You honestly might be able to take out both in one fell swoop. So I would go ahead and just use your Tyranno Slashes right now.
Okay.
Play the 1 and see how it goes. Also keep in mind that via Jason's ability, you have a reroll if you need it for each battle. So if you suck, you could go ahead and do it again. I think you should be able to take both of these out in one fell swoop without even needing 2 turns.
So does that? So this one also says you may re-roll any number of dice. So does that compound with his ability?
No, I forgot that did that.
So it just says that
wouldn't
there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't replace that right now. You could do it a second time, I guess, unless it's worded such where it wouldn't let you. But yeah, no, you actually, I believe, could do it twice if you just threw that badly. But I wouldn't worry about it right now. So yeah, okay. So you're going to pay 1 energy.
1 energy.
And then you're gonna roll 3 dice. 3, right?
3 dice. Yes.
Okay. So Brandon hits it for 2 and takes it out right away. And then, unfortunately, you couldn't take out the Putty Pummel to keep you from taking 3 damage because it was guarded and it would let you do that. Usually, we would probably try to take that out so that didn't happen to you. So that's
it does say I can immediately play another card with the same name.
Yeah.
So does it still get the damage?
And no, you're not going to have to take the damage. I'm just letting everybody know that if all things were equal and you didn't get to do that, that's what would happen next.
Okay.
So now what Brandon is going to do in a second is he's going to do the same attack he just did because Trainee's ability lets him play another card immediately. However, I want to do a theoretical really quick, Brandon, just to show everybody how this works. Assume that Brandon did have to take this damage. He would take 3 damage. Let's show everybody how taking damage works. So Brandon would have to take damage via the defense in the corner at the bottom of his cards. And like I said, losing cards is how you get close to dying. If he runs out of his entire deck, he is dead. And has to go back to the center and power up, and that would use up an energy token in the middle. In the game that we have set up, if we were playing a full game, if he died, that he would not be able to do that, and we would just be finished. So, what's going to happen, or what would happen, again, theoretical, he would take 3 damage, and so we have 1 defense in the corner here, so that's 1 he would lose. And then he has 2 more, so that is 3 he would lose, so he would lose both of these cards. If this was 3 instead of 2, he would only lose this 1 card because he only had to take 3 damage, but that would be 4 total. So you just count it up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 is more than 3, and so then this would actually go back to the bottom of his deck, and he wouldn't have to lose that card, so he would only lose the 1. So that's how you take damage. Brandon, go ahead and throw that other card and see if you can take out that putty pummel.
So there.
Yes, sir.
And
Now, you're going to want a discard pile in a better place than on top of the
it's
Megazords.
right here.
There you go.
Sorry.
No problem, man. All right. And he rolled 2. And so I had that tapped like that would happen, but he didn't actually have to take that yet. However, now he's going to because he wasn't able to take that out. But you do have that reroll.
I do have that reroll.
Mm-hmm.
If I reroll it, I have to stick with the reroll?
Yeah, so you could reroll any number of dice. So, no, you don't have to throw them all. You can throw just the blank if you wanted to. Yeah. And that's 2, so that takes it out. And that is done. That resolves, and you're finished. So that's how a typical putty fight works. Once again, just going through this real briefly, if there is no fast, Brandon would have gotten to throw first. Usually that's what happens. Again, unless there's fast at the beginning. And then he attacks, and then the enemy gets an attack, and then Brandon attacks, and then the enemy gets an attack. And then Brandon would get 1 more attack. So you always get to start unless there's fast, but you also get the last attack. And the other thing to keep in mind, I'm saying attack, but there's also maneuvers. Maneuver cards are played instead of attacks. You can only do one or the other. So you can't play maneuvers out of turn. You can play reactions out of turn. It's also important to note that there are a lot of maneuvers that include attacks with them. So sometimes playing a maneuver is also playing an attack, and it'll have an additional helpful thing like gaining energy or something like that. A lot of reactions are about defense. Things like when you reveal a card for defense, some nice thing happens for you. So that's how that works. So the next thing that would happen is we would take both putties that Brandon just fought. Where'd the other one go? Didn't you just... Oh, it's right there. It was like dark and I didn't see it, so I'm dumb. Okay, so
menacing.
These are going to go on the command track. Look, it's the command track. The command track has 6 spaces on it, and when you cover it up with putties, you get a Zord. So we will go ahead and pull a Zord after I do my putty fight, Brandon. We'll just see if we can take out this whole board, and then we'll skip ahead and we'll do a monster fight and show everybody what that looks like. Okay, so where did my stack of supers go? Oh, that's why. There's a Z putty in the middle of my supers. I gotta put that away. There's a lot of stuff here.
A lot of cards in this game.
So the putties and super putties, you know, any of your foot soldiers cards do get shuffled back in whenever you finish a fight. That does not happen with monsters and bosses. They get discard piles. But we'll deal with that a little bit later. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the high school. And I'm going to fight a putty, or no, 2 putties and 2 super putties. Now, the lead ranger gets to decide in what order that happens. So look, I moved, and then I'm initiating a battle. Now, I've got 1 more action token left. There's a few different things I could do with that, Brandon. One of them is I could gain 2 energy by flipping it over. That's another extra thing that you can do with action tokens. and I could recover at the end of my turn. You also can do that too at the end if you had needed to. You didn't really take any damage, so you probably won't. But you could. And then also, if there was anybody left over, I could initiate another attack because I am there right now. Okay, so I am going to draw up to 7 right after I put out my putty. So, like I said, you get to decide what order you put them out at. I'm going to do the putties first. So we have a leaping attack, which deals 3 damage. We have a cannon fodder, which is guarding leaping attack right now. And then we're going to put out 2 super putties. Just hoping this glare is not too bad. Putty pummel. And engulf, which is fast and guard. Oh, Brandon, that engulf, man. Did it to me too, sir. All right, so. And also in the next battle, when we kind of set up another turn, you'll get to see Brandon and I probably fight something together. There's some splitting off that happens, but often you're going to be in a fight with other rangers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's my hand. Here's what I've got right now. So let me so Fainting Slash is like my favorite thing in the game. Oh, it just occurred to me, I have never played with Jen Scotts. Jen Scotts has been in a lot of games I played with because my kids love her, but I have not actually dealt with her much. Okay, so I actually have a thing that can get around fast. Let me show you this, Brandon. Cool. So Jen Scotts has an ability that allows you to swap enemy cards of the same type. So I can actually take, because these are all foot soldiers, they don't have to be the same foot soldier, the type of card is foot soldier. So I can switch around 2 different cards and that will let me get around fast. So I could put, see, where do I want that guard? I'm thinking, I guess it's not going to totally matter. Okay, so I'm just going to put this fast toward the end because 2 guards can't guard each other. So the only thing guarded right now is that. And that putty pummel would, well, maybe I should put that 2 in the front, but whatever, it's fine. That would do 3 damage to me if I can't beat it right away. So I'm going to do what I can to kill it immediately, Brandon.
All right.
I'm going to think a second.
Also, keep in mind that my power allows me to choose a ranger of my choice once per battle. And
it does not, because you are not in said battle.
Once per battle, a ranger of your choice may re-roll any number of dice during attack. Do
in
I have to
battle
be in that battle?
that you're in.
Okay.
Always.
All right.
With the ranger abilities. Like I said earlier, always.
Gotcha.
And I don't think there's very many, if any, that break that. So yeah, yes, it says any ranger of your choice, but it implies any battle you're in right now. Once again, keep in mind that we're doing 2 separate battles, but often you'll be in a battle with other rangers, and that's what that's talking about. So yeah, no, that's unfortunate. I played that wrong for the longest time. It was only like a week ago that I realized I was doing that incorrectly. Okay, that's probably why I
guess that would be a great power to have then.
It would. That's probably why I wanted to make this video, in case other people are confused about some of the rules. So, I think the best thing I've got right now, best hope I've got is Fainting Slash. Wish I could get more than 3 dice against a 3, but it's not looking a real likely there. So, Fainting Slash is going to cost me 1 energy. And the way this works, Brandon, is I'm going to throw 3 dice. And if I roll any blanks, I get to put it back in my hand. I have played games where I play Fainting Slash like 5 times in the same turn. It's fantastic. And I just demolished Putty Pummel. So that is 5 to that 3. So that gets knocked out. That is going to resolve. And then I'm going to get another turn. Now I have to deal with a leaping attack, Brandon.
Oh. Leap.
Oh, that Fainting Slash, though, I'm actually going to lose, unfortunately, because I didn't roll any blanks. I think that was all hits. So, like, yay, but boo, all at the same time. I get very conflicted when I play Fainting Slash. What do I want to do? There's Overclock. Yeah, I shouldn't have picked Jen Scotts because I got to read her cards. I'm not used to her yet. Discard another card from your hand, then gain 1 energy for each defense on that card. Oh yeah, Jason uses that all the time. Yeah, that's nice. And that's for when somebody else plays a maneuver. Whenever Jason plays with Jen Scotts, he creates a lot of what he likes to call sweet, sweet combos. And he says it all the time. Okay, yeah, I think I am gonna try to add another energy to my shared energy pool, which I'm selfishly not sharing with anyone right now. So I'm gonna play Overclock. Overclock costs me nothing because the 0 is in the corner, and it lets me do a 2-die attack, which I'm gonna do to leaping attack, which allows me to discard another card from my hand. And I'm going to go right now, I think, for... Oh, I could have done a flash kick at the beginning. I forgot about that. This lets you, Brandon, before a battle starts, roll 2 dice and deal that much damage to the first card in the sequence.
Oh.
Which is also a really nice way to get around fast, potentially. And I just totally forgot to do it. But that's a nice card for White. White Ranger is one of my favorites right now. Okay, so... but anyway, getting back to the thing at hand. So I'm going to put an energy in the pool via Overclock. And I'm going to discard, I guess, Guardian Armor right now. That is 3 defense. And that's... Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I did that wrong. That's going to actually give me 3 energy in the pool. Isn't
nice.
that nice? Yeah, which I'm not even going to need that much, but it's nice to have it. Okay, so then I'm going to roll 2 dice and hope I take out that leaping attack. And I did not. I got 2 blanks. Great. Okay, so you're going to get to see more damage. Okay, so leaping attack hits me for 3 damage, Brandon.
Oh boy.
So 1 defense in the corner. 1 more. And 2. So that's 4. So that card with 2 defense goes at the bottom of my deck. So I only lost 2 cards over that. And now I'm going to try to probably take out that cannon fodder because I don't want to take any more damage. So I'll do that before I deal with that leaping attack. Oh, you know what? You know what just occurred to me?
What's that?
Well, that was guarded, so I couldn't attack it anyway. So it doesn't, nothing matters right now because I threw blanks, but I should have been throwing at this in the first place because that was guarded. I misguard a lot. That's a mistake I make all the time. Okay, so I need to try to take out that cannon fodder, but again, no harm done because I threw blanks in anyway. I might as well have been shooting a finger gun. A finger gun. Okay, Brandon, I'm going to go for the Saba Slash. The Saba Slash is a 3... Where's Saba? You still have Saba? It's back here. Here, I'm going to use Saba Slash, so Brandon's got to play with Saba. There you go. Okay. I don't think that's on camera. Okay, so... Alright, so that is a 3 energy attack, Brandon. So I'm going to play Saba Slash. It is a 5 dice attack, and I can divide the damage among any number of targets. Now, wording in games like this is really important. Mm-hmm. So this says I may divide this among any number of targets. There's other wording that makes it clear that you have to do it that way. But this one, if I wanted to put it all on one, I could, or I could divide it up if I wanted to. So I'm going to throw 5 dice. And I'm going to throw them... You always have to declare what you throw at. That's important. So I'm going to throw this at the cannon fodder to try to not have to take 2 damage. But, well, actually, no. I'm wrong about this. I think you have to declare all the targets before you throw. That's a thing I learned the other day, too. So I'm going to try to divide it up amongst, I guess, just the cannon fodder and engulf, because I have plenty else I can do, I think. Actually, I don't. I only have 1 more attack. So do I want to divide that up against all of those? Probably not. I'm still going to say the 3 and 2 here. Especially because I still can't attack this because it's guarded. So what the heck am I talking about? Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can split that up amongst these 2. And that's going to take them both out because that's a 3 and a 2. And I threw 6. Look at me. I'm so excited.
How about that?
Those are both gone. So the way this works, once again, is once something is destroyed, it still resolves even though it's flipped over, which is really different from any game I've ever played. So this is going to resolve, and I'm going to get another chance at, or an actual chance at the leaping attack, because it's no longer guarded. So the only thing I have, Brandon, is another big, giant, honkin' attack. It's all I've got, and I'm going to use it, by God. Oh, by the way, I could have used my my White Ranger ability, Guardian Light, to mitigate a little bit of that damage a minute ago, but I forgot to do that. So, anyway, all right, so now what I'm going to do, everybody keeping up with this?
It's an involved game.
All right. Yeah, but first of all, veterans of a lot of board games won't find this too horribly complicated, and it's you pick up on it pretty quickly, I think. Like, I haven't done a lot of games like this, and I don't find it too tough to figure out. Okay, so we have 2 energy in my reserve, so I'm going to put both of those in the shared energy pool, and I'm going to use all 3 to use my V5 blaster. Before rolling, add 1 die to this attack for each energy remaining in the pool. Well, there isn't any because I used it all.
But lucky you had all that energy.
Yeah, it is lucky because that's the only other attack I had. So this is going to be overkill, most assuredly, going after leaping attack there. Watch me roll all blanks too, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All hits.
Okay, all hits. So I just took that out, and Brandon, we have officially finished up the entire board. We have cleared the board, and then here's what would happen. Isn't this nice? I was going to kind of force this, but we're going to get it anyway. So we're going to get 4 foot soldiers on the track, and that gets us a Zord. So we move this to the 1 position, because we get a Zord. Now, I forgot to put the Zords out, so let's just do random Zords. This is not usually how this would work, but we might as well do it because it'll be fun. So, the way this usually works is you pick, if you had 5 players, you'd use all 5 Zords based on the players you were playing as. There's a Zord for each character. If you're just playing with 2 like we are, with 4 Rangers, we would put the Zords for each of our 4 Rangers, and then we would just put a random one in there also. And then you can play with any Megazord you want to, or you can randomize the Megazords as well. And that's what we usually do, is just randomize the Megazords. So we're just going to pick a random Zord, Brandon. Here, why don't you pick a random Zord? Okay, what do we get, man?
Ninja Battle Mode.
Oh man, I haven't even played with that yet. Crazy.
Exhaust this card to allow up to 3 Rangers to each choose 1 card from their discard pile and place it on the bottom of their deck.
Okay, well, that's somewhat useful. Now I wish I had stacked the deck, just because that, there's nothing super flashy about that one. But yeah, so there's Ninja Battle Mode. Where's Ninja? Here, Brandon can put Ninja in Ninja Battle Mode right now. Go ahead,
Battle Mode.
There he goes. Here he comes. He's gonna go on Ninja Battle Mode. Yeah, with the scale of this game, these look enormous. I'm glad they're not that big. Yeah. Anyway, okay, Brandon. So, that's a typical first round. Well, I said we cleared the board. We didn't clear the board. We actually have this guy left in his juice bar, but
I forgot about him. He's
that
just chilling.
is fine. So because I had to take some damage, Brandon, the next thing I would do is go ahead and power up. Or sorry, not power up. I would what's the word? Recover. And the way you recover is you get 6 defense worth of cards back from your discard pile, any that you want to, and then you get to stack the deck and put them on top of your deck. So you pick things that you want in your hand right away. And so I'm going to get, no one's surprised, Fainting Slash. And then I'm going to pull back, you know what, another Fainting Slash. Those always come in handy. And then how about, let's see, I'm only going to get, 3, 4. I'm only going to get 5, but that's okay. So I'll go ahead and pull my Saba Slash back out as well. Okay, so that is still my discard pile, and then these go on the top of my deck. Okay, so that's a basic round. Brandon, we're not going to play out an entire other round now that everybody's seen how a basic round works. Now what I really want to do is just show everybody. Well, it's funny too because we pulled 2 monsters, but we're not going to actually go through both monsters, so I don't know why I worried about that. But let's go ahead and just do 1 monster and just kind of play it out and show people what it looks like.
Sure.
And then do 1 boss. So, in fact, before we do that, let's go ahead and throw out one more deployment just to remind everybody what deployments look like. And then we will just kind of simulate a monster fight and a boss fight to go ahead and round off the video. So, okay, so the next deployment from there, just to give people a sense of continuity of what this would look like. So first of all, I got to flip that because I recovered. And then we would want to, going into the next turn, flip all of these back over. Also because I recovered, I get my energy replenished back in my reserve. And Brandon didn't use any, but if he had, he wouldn't get any back right now because he is not recovering. Okay, Brandon, so this is what the next deployment would look like. Let me see. Let me just stack this and actually put a monster in it. And we'll just go ahead and, like I said, we're not going to deal with all the other putties, but we'll just go ahead and fight a monster. But we'll get some putties with it so that you can see how that looks like in the row. Because you're usually going to have foot soldiers along with your monster. Are you ready, Brandon?
I am.
Okay, cool. So we've got 2 super putties at Ernie's Juice Bar. If you don't mind putting those out for me, Brandon.
Absolutely.
Thanks for helping me show everybody this game, Brandon.
Absolutely. It's a fun, complicated game. But as more play, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, well, and like I said, I've been playing it so much that I'm not even really thinking of it as all that complicated.
10,000 hours and you'll be an expert.
I think there are... I just think there's a lot of stuff that's like way harder to get into and more complicated, which is why I don't usually play a lot of stuff like this. And I think Jonathan Ying, who made the game, and watch his videos on this because he does a good job of also explaining how the game works, and he's just kind of fun to watch. But I think he did a really good job of kind of balancing that, where it's a thing that isn't too difficult to get into, but is complex enough that it has a lot of constant replay value. And I think it's designed intentionally so that if not little kids, at least older kids can also get into it because it's Power Rangers. So like most of the people that are going to be interested in this at this point are adults, but it is Power Rangers, so you kind of want that slightly entry level kind of thing, Okay, so 2 super putties went to the juice bar. That sounds like the start of a terrible joke. And then 2 more putties, regular putties, Brandon, are going to go to also Ernie's Juice Bar.
Oh,
and that's going to
panic.
And that's going to panic it. So I'm glad that this happened because we need to show how this works. So that's going to panic that area.
Oh my!
Come on, Brandon. Gotta stand him up. Okay. So we've got 5 foot soldiers at the juice bar. That panics it. We're also going to put a monster there, and that monster is going to spill over into the next area. Once a place is I don't want to just say panicked. I'll tell you about how this works in a second. But once a place has more figures in it than its number, anything else that goes there spills over to the next area. So the monster is Pumpkin Wrapper. So Pumpkin Wrapper is going to go not in the juice bar, but in Angel Grove High School. Now, that immediately panics it. Whenever a monster comes out, it immediately panics the area. If a place is panicked already because of, let's see if this goes with this. If a place is panicked already because of foot soldiers, Brandon, it stays panicked until you get rid of all of them.
Right.
So it's funny how it takes all those putties to show up before people are freaking out and panicked, but they remain that way until all of them leave. So that's how it works. The way a monster works is it becomes panicked, and the only way that you can unpanic it now is by defeating the monster. Once the monster is defeated, if there are any putties left over, they will actually run away and won't go on the track. So that will unpanic it, which is nice, but you won't be able to use them toward getting a Zord if you can't defeat them in the battle. That's how that works. And once again, once all 4 places are panicked, you lose the game. And it is possible for a place to get panicked and you lose the game in the middle of a battle, Brandon.
Oh dear.
There are cards like there's one what's it called? There's one where a putty can like appear at a place. So in the middle of it, you have to put a new putty figure in an area, and if that happens and it would panic the entire board, the game is over.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's the best. Okay, so I haven't had that happen yet, thank God, but I've gotten close. 2 putties at the juice bar. That juice bar, man.
It's
So they're gonna actually go over to pumpkin wrapper now.
yes. Is another regular putty.
And you should have a putty. Here you go.
Yes, there we go. I found it.
Ah!
So that is already panicked over
Yes, it sure is.
there. But we're at 4 now. We're at 2. I'm sorry. Those are your Rangers.
Yeah, I know. It's sometimes White Ranger. I'm like, that's a putty. No, it's not. 3 putties at the park.
Oh boy.
Regular putties. Okay, let me help you find some. Here's one.
Here's another.
There is a putty pack that you can get if you are worried about running out of foot soldiers. That's another reason that it's nice to have 2 base sets if you decide to do that. Okay. So, now we're not going to deal with these other putties because Brandon and I aren't going to play out an entire turn now. We're just going to show you how pumpkin wrapper works because this video is getting lengthy. So, story of my entire existence, Brandon. All right. So, but I have been having a lot of fun showing this to you guys, and I hope that it is helping at all. And at the very least, hopefully you think this game is kind of neat looking, because I really want to spread the word on this and get people engaged with it. Okay, so Brandon, I have to now get my trusty giant box out and pull out the pumpkin wrapper.
All right.
He's in my monster box. Here's my monster box. With evil robot Tommy. Evil robot Tommy. Come on, where are you, pumpkin guy? Brandon, Bulk and Skull are rangers in the game.
Oh yeah.
And they have some hilarious cards. One of them is a card that gives you extra damage for doing a fist bump with a person. And another one allows you to drop a card from a high place and hope it touches one of the enemy cards. And if it does, you put 3 damage on it.
Very nice.
It's pretty great. And another one, this is the reason I brought this up, lets you put damage on a card, but only if you insult it first.
Ha.
All right, so here comes Pumpkin Wrapper, and we will just show you real quick how a monster fight works. Okay, let me just shuffle these real quick. Okay, so there are 8 cards in a monster deck. You're going to put out 4, and you have to beat 4 monster cards in order to defeat the monster. If you aren't able to beat all 4 of them, the cards that you did beat go in the monster's discard pile. And then, when you attack him again, you still have to put out an entire set of cards. You still have to go through all 4 and however many putties there are, but you only have to defeat the number less than 4 that is left, right?
Sure.
You only have to get, if you beat 3, but you couldn't get that 4th one, you have to get 1 more in the discard pile next time, okay? So we're going to get Hip Hop Bomb Drop, Brandon, which is fast. Each ranger must discard from their hand 1 card with an energy cost of 0. And then we have Rapper's Trap, which is guard and passive. That means that when it resolves, it won't do anything, but it does a thing during the whole battle. So while this card is in play, each time a ranger attacks this card, they must spend 1 energy. That's nuts. I didn't know about that card. And then we have Spit Hot Fire, which is a health 4. Deal 3 damage to each ranger. And finally, another... Oh, crap. This is guarded. This is guarded. That's obnoxious. And then that is guard and passive. While this card is in play, each time a ranger attacks this card, they must spend 1 energy. And then what would...
boy.
Yeah, that's rough. And then what would happen is we would have to put out 2 putty cards because there's 2 putties back there. So we're going to put out cannon fodder, and we're going to put out leaping attack. And so then, Brandon and I would each flip over an action token in order to both move over to Pumpkin Wrapper if that's how we decided to do this. That's what we're going to do right now. So all 4 Rangers are in the same place. Now, I don't have to flip over an action token right now, even though I did, because I am already there.
You're already in the place.
Being the nice guy I am, I would go ahead and initiate the battle myself then, so that each of us has only had to flip over 1. I have the lead Ranger token because I am currently the lead Ranger, which basically just means, like I said earlier, I will get to decide the way everything comes out. We did that out of order, but whatever. Brandon, do you want to go ahead and try to play this out real fast, or should we just kind of show what a boss deployment looks like and call it a day? Because it's getting kind of late.
Yeah, I think we should probably just, because we're focusing on a higher level overview, just go to the boss.
Okay, so we would go through this whole thing, and like I said, the whole point would be to take out all 4 of these. And like I said, if we didn't, we would have to attack him again if we had the cards to do so, and then make sure that we got at least 4 cards in his discard pile. So that's how we would deal with that. So we won't worry about now what the board looks like. We'll just go ahead and throw our boss out. So there would be 1 more monster that would come out. We'd do another deployment, and another monster would come out, actually, it looks like, in yet another deployment after that, because we're just playing with 4 right now. They come out more often if you're playing with 5, which is one of the things that's nice about playing with 5. Oh, look, this boss would have come out right at the very, very end of all the drops. Okay, and so, like I said, we've got Rita. So let's just pretend like, we beat Pumpkin Wrapper, and we have, essentially this many putties out already. Let's say, let's put like 3 here, and then like, that's really panicked now. And then we'll get out Rita. My other Rita is actually being painted right now. So this one we'll put out, we'll just say that it went to the industrial district all by itself. So let's say this was your board. You would have to, you'd have to take out Rita to beat the game. And if you couldn't do it this turn, you'd be in danger of losing the very next turn because you get 4 more deployments, and that would be a really sticky situation. I just wanted to throw that out there because this happens a lot. So, that's panicked right away. So, and this is like 3 away. So if you couldn't take out some of this somehow, and you couldn't beat her this turn, then you're done. Now, the very important thing to note about a boss is that, unlike a monster, instead of having to beat 4 cards, you have to beat 6, which is impossible to do in a single fight. It is possible to do in a single turn, assuming that you have enough resources to attack a second time.
Sure.
So we're going to go ahead and put out Rita's cards now. Show you how that works. Where is Rita?
And since we were now fighting together, if you initiated an attack, I could allow you to re-roll dice.
That's right. Yep. And there's a lot of other characters that will do things for any other ranger that's in a battle. It's not always just for them, but sometimes it is. Okay, so Rita would come out, and as you might expect, the bosses are a lot harder usually. So Wicked Hex. Oh, also important to note, if you want to, you can always use a boss as a monster. And you would just have to defeat 4 of their cards. And you could also use a monster as a boss if you wanted to. They would usually just be an easier boss. So if you want kind of a less challenging game, especially to initiate somebody new, it's not a bad idea to make a monster a boss. Okay, so Wicked Hex is going to be fast. And I'll just read some of these cards so you can see how difficult they can get. So deal 6 damage to the ranger with the fewest cards in their deck. That's rough because if you have not very many cards in your deck, you definitely don't want to get attacked. Chain Lightning or get damage dealt to you, and both of these are fast so far. Chain Lightning is a 4 health. That was a 6 health. Deal 4 damage to each ranger. So you'll notice sometimes they'll hit everybody, sometimes they'll hit just one person. And then we got Cruel Laughter, which is a guard. Each ranger must discard from their hand the card with the most defense, and another Cruel Laughter is what you get there. So like I said, you have to put out 4 cards just like you would with a monster, but you have to beat 6, which means you have to go through her twice. And it doesn't mean that you only put out 2 more next time. You still put out 4, you just only have to beat 2 more of them.
Right.
If you manage to beat all 4 of these. And then, if she had putties with her, let's say she has a couple supers, you'd put them underneath. And when you have cards, we didn't talk about this earlier with Pumpkin Wrapper, but this is a great example. If you have cards underneath your boss cards from your foot soldiers, guards will guard what is right next to them and also what is right above them.
Oh.
So this card is guarded and this card is guarded.
Interesting.
So that's an important thing to keep in mind as well. So once again, the way you would beat the game is to beat Rita or her 4 cards here, or as many as you can, and then make sure that when you attack her again, you're able to get a total of 6 cards in her discard pile. If one of us were to die this turn, not having any energy in the command center, we would lose the game entirely. If we get up to 5 Zords, you get a Megazord. We would have gotten the Delta Command Megazord. The one that, of course, we usually play with is the Dino Megazord, which allows you to put 1 damage on every enemy card at the start of a turn.
That's nice.
Which is really helpful.
Dang.
Yeah. That's how that works. And so we didn't get to see this, but the more you accumulate Zords, the more abilities you have. Something important also to note about Zords, we didn't even use the one that we had, just because we were kind of just simulating real quick. But relatively quick, one of the benefits of a Zord over a ranger ability is a ranger ability can only be used once per battle. And as we noted earlier, Brandon, can only be used in a battle that ranger is in. A Zord can be used by anybody, regardless of who is controlling it, and can be used, but it can only be used, this is the unfortunate thing about Zords, only once per turn, as opposed to once per battle.
Gotcha.
And so you have to really strategize when you use them. Some of them give you extra energy. Some of them give you extra damage in attacks. Some of them work as attacks themselves, etc., etc. So again, really expansive, a whole bunch of different things that can happen. But I wanted to give you guys kind of an overview about how the game is played, and then maybe Brandon and I, and we'll see who else we can get over to play with us. We'll do a full playthrough at some point, and maybe just do a random game where anything is possible to come up. Or maybe I'll stack it where we have to fight Cyclopsis and just do something insane that's really not so difficult. So anyway,
Sure.
Hope you guys enjoyed this, and thanks a bunch for looking at it, and I hope you're able to follow. I've never, off the cuff, tried to explain how to play a game on camera before. So I thought about doing a written video. I didn't have time to put that together, so I thought I'd do this instead. But thanks for helping me out, Brandon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Sure appreciate it. So we'll see you again later on, folks. Bye!